Hello everybody, my name is Spoons Rattling, and welcome to the second part of my painting journal for 2025. Of course, this covers pretty much all of March, and this is mainly just catching up on my escalation force, as I am playing guard. So here we have a Chimera that I painted up in probably an hour and 15 minutes, very simple color scheme. But I just needed to get it done. This was just kind of done on a whim. I realized I've got a lot of models to paint, so I just hunkered down, put down a couple coats of blue violet from Vallejo, then washed all of it, and then painted the weapons and things with Black Legion, and then just dry brushed a little bit of silver on, just to get it to a very simple battle ready standard. I did paint the tank commander, if you will, all flesh tone, and then used some, I believe it's Bad Moon's yellow is the yellow I use over his uniform. Very simple, and then I used the same purple for the helmet. This was not the first model I painted, but this isn't in chronological order anyways. Moving on to the next one, I actually did a video on this guy. This was, of course, the Dark Kraken's Terminator Captain from the first issue of Combat Patrol. I will be getting my next issue in a couple days. I had to sort out a billing issue. I'm pretty happy with how this guy came out. I really enjoyed painting out this new color scheme. And I got to, show some different techniques I have. Not the biggest fan of how the cape turned out, but such is life. Obviously, I just painted most of the model with Black Legion, as I tend to just prime gray. I just find it the most general purpose. Then I just used that same purple on the arms and the tilting shields, and then washed them with Druchii Violet, same thing I did last time. Used some bone color for the cloth. I used some very deep sort of Incubi Darkness for the wax on the Purity Seals. And then I just used, I believe it's Celestium Blue and Pilar Glacier for the Tyrannid head, and some standard, just sort of mixed up a brown wash for the rock and the ground. And for the sword, which I'm actually quite happy with how that came out, I painted it all silver, highlighted it with a brighter silver, and then just put over a wash of Mantis Warrior Green, the contrast paint. And I think it made this kind of cool, otherworldly goldish color that I really like how it came out. The rest of the silver was mostly done with either Lead Belcher for the weapons and Grey Knight Steel for the fancy bits. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this guy came out, and I was happy with how that video came out. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It came out a few weeks ago. It was pretty fun. I cover the lore of the Dark Krakens. As you can see on his tilting shield, there is a free-handed little shark head there, a hammerhead, which is part of their lore, if you will. But yeah, this guy I think came out pretty well. Probably the second or first best model. These guys were some of the last models I painted, and by last, I mean I painted them at 11 o'clock on March 31st. To get them done and dusted for my escalation, because everything has to be battle ready. Very standard, just Black Legion on the horses, same purple on the armor, same flesh tone, then yellow over the clothes. Pretty standard sort of silver over the weapons, all that. It was done very fast and very haphazardly, but at the tabletop distance, they still look fine. Overall, these guys didn't come out as good as the other one of these I painted, which I also did in a video, who is, of course, also a part of this. But, I mean, I really like the Death Riders. I think their models are pretty fun, even though they did approximately nothing for the entire month, which was definitely a little sad. I wish these guys maybe did a little bit more, but they make fine distractions, I suppose. As I mentioned, I did do another painting video, or I suppose it's last month, for this guy, who actually I think came out significantly better. He'll be my Watch Master. Basically all the same general stylings, but I also took the time to paint the claws on the horse. I picked out all the silver and black details on the weapons and things like that. I highlighted the skin of the horse using Corvus Black over that Black Legion. I did a little bit of highlighting on the armor. I painted in the eyes lenses of the horse with Incubi Darkness. And I'm really happy with how this guy came out. He's probably the best painted model in my army. He's definitely going to be the Watchmaster of that unit. Even though he's technically not the Watchmaster model, you get the idea. Overall, I'm very happy with how this guy came out and how that video came out. I don't think that video did as well as some of the others. I highly recommend going and watching it. It's just a big, long video on Death Rider lore and how to paint this guy. Mainly because, well, I really like fun color schemes, so I like to show off how I paint them. And then finally, painted on the same night as those 4 Death Riders, we have the Big Daddy. Had to change camera for this because it was an entire Bane sword. One of those ones. I actually didn't run it as a Bane sword because, obviously, I couldn't get any orders anymore. I used it as a Doomhammer, who actually did me pretty well. I only went 1-3, but it was a stomp the first 2 games, and then the last game was actually pretty close. It kind of came down to a bad shooting phase from me. But I mean, it's all about having fun. It's not so much about always just stomping your opponents. This guy, as you can see, was painted very differently. I used, I believe it's Leviathan Purple from the Army Painter Speed Painter range, mixed with a lot of contrast medium, put that all over the tank's armor, and then I used Black Legion on the tracks, on the weapons, on the big gun, and just hit that all with a dry brush of silver just to get that all done. And then I dry brushed some of that Vallejo blue purple over everything to get us something that looks a little brighter. I want to repaint this guy or come back in and touch up all with the better purple. But, I had to get this done. This model took me about an hour and 15 minutes to paint. And for that, I'll take it. That is legendary levels of speed, and obviously the fine work definitely paid the price. But I could see myself stripping this guy and then repainting him on a weekend this month. I'd still only count it as one model painted. Speaking of, let's go on to that section now. So obviously I had 19 models painted in the first 2 months of the year, and then I had the Chimera, the Captain, 5 horses, and this. So that maths out to, what is that, 8 models if I'm not mistaken? Because 5 and then, 8 models, bringing us up to a total of 27. Anyways, I've been Spoons Rattling. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.